Hi there, I'm Tom from Ledgemere Farm in southern Maine, and I want to take a moment to talk about my 2018 Mahindra Max 26XLT hydrostatic. This tractor replaced a older John Deere 4110, and I've had this tractor for 2 years. I've got well over 100 hours on it, and I really like this tractor. It is 26 horsepower, was built entirely by Mitsubishi in Japan, has a Mitsubishi motor, the tractor built by Mitsubishi. I think the loader might have been built by Kansas Machine Works, but I'm not worried about another company making a loader. That's something that's been common for as long as there's been tractors. John Deere and Case IH and everybody else didn't always make their own equipment, so you'd see stuff on one tractor that looked very similar to another. I've had no issues with it. It's a quick detach loader, and it has skid steer attachments, skid steer quick attachment plate, or a carrier they call it, on the front. And what that means is that these two levers on there, I can flip them up and take the bucket off. I can put a snow pusher, I can put a round bale grabber on there, I can put my forks on it, whatever skid steer attachment you can think of will fit on this tractor. Now that said, some are too big for this tractor, but that doesn't mean it won't fit on it. That's a whole nother. This tractor came with industrial tires, and I wouldn't put ag tires on a tractor this small because you'd be looking at really skinny tires, and that would tear your lawn up, something terrible. And in addition to that, with agricultural tires on something this small, when you have a full load in the bucket and you start to turn that wheel, if your tires aren't fully inflated, you will take that tire right off the rim, especially these tubeless tires. They are a bear to put back on, especially when you've got a load of material in that bucket that you don't want on your lawn or your driveway per se. It does have a clutch, even though it's a hydrostatic. What that clutch does, push that clutch in to change ranges from either high or low range, or to engage your PTO. PTO is a manual PTO, meaning you push the clutch and you push a lever, and there's not a button or a switch. Has retractable seat belts, tilt seat, armrests, full instrumentation, has glow plugs, starts wonderfully in the winter, even the coldest days. The hydraulic valve is back here instead of on the loader, so it's really convenient to operate that. I did add some additional forward and reverse lighting on it, just because with the bucket on the front, when you're carrying stuff, you can either carry it low or carry it high. But if you carry it at what I would consider to be a normal height, you'll lose a lot of the visibility from your headlights. So extra lighting is pretty important. The full drive engagement is here, differential lock here. It does have a treadle pedal, forward and reverse. Now, growing up, I drove a lot of John Deere's, and then particularly in the early 2000s, John Deere came out with that twin touch, so it did take some getting used to, and I still quite am amazed that manufacturers still make a treadle pedal with a split brake on the same side. I haven't quite figured out how to, get my other foot over there to keep going forward while I use the brakes. So I'm not sure the reason behind that, but you'll find Kubota and several other manufacturers do the same thing. Now, it has a foldable ROPS, which I usually keep down. Reason being is I clean out the freestall area for my cattle, which is underneath the barn. I have a bank barn, and those of you who are familiar with the old bank barns, it means it's built into a hill. The barn comes over, and then you can park stuff underneath. Well, I park stuff underneath, and most of it, but there's also a run-in area for my cattle to go in there, and it's about this tall, so the ROPS down, and I have a set of manure forks that I put on the front, and I can pick up the hay and get out of there. So foldable ROPS was very important, and the John Deere didn't have that. Three-point hitch is just a regular three-point hitch with turnbuckles. The lifting lever is over there, the valve. With industrial tires, they are great for loader work. They're great on your lawn. They're great all around general purpose tire, but in the wintertime on the snow and ice they just stink. So I've got these tire chains on and they work pretty well. I don't have any issues. I don't put them on the front because in four-wheel drive you want something to slip, and I just kind of feel like if you have everything tightened up with chains and you're trying to turn, you might be inviting some trouble on the front end. So it does have power steering, and this tractor I noticed is much wider than the John Deere. The footprint as far as width, these tires are way out here, so I do feel very comfortable with stability. I didn't get ballast in the tires, and I don't know why I didn't. That's something that I would normally want to have, but for whatever reason I didn't think of it. The front tires were adjustable. They're two-way adjustable, so I swapped them side to side, and that made the front tires line up with the back. The bucket is wide enough so you're still covering your tracks. Fuel is here, and it's not too bad with this one. I do have a bulk diesel tank, so I'm just using a hose, but if you have a 5-gallon can of diesel and you're trying to dump it up here, there's a good possibility you're going to get diesel fuel all over this and all over yourself. So I typically prefer them in the back. Tilt wheel. It's got a horn, directional lights, throttles here, handles, cup holders on both sides, a place for your cell phone. This tractor, I did add one of those little John Deere battery tenders on it, just because it's cold up here, and if I don't use it a lot, I'm always a little paranoid about the battery going down. So far I haven't had an issue, but I can just plug in this right here and it'll charge the battery up. Now that said, this tractor has glow plugs and a preheater, so you turn it not on, but like the switch on a little bit, it's kind of spring loaded, and the little idiot light comes on to indicate the glow plugs, and then the light goes off, turn the key the rest of the way, tractor starts right up. Even the coldest days, never had an issue with this tractor. And one of the reasons I actually went with Mahindra over John Deere was because of the dealership. Now, I'm not going to knock any color tractor, because in my mind I love tractors. I love all the tractors. But the dealership I bought this from, which was Abbott's over in East Waterboro, they have been stellar. They have treated me really well. They've come out here and picked up equipment for me. They've brought parts out. With a John Deere warranty, the transportation is included, and typically, I don't think that's the case with anybody. I think they'll warranty the parts and labor, but you got to get the machine there, and that's not really been the case. A lot of times they've just come out and fixed it, if they could, and I say a lot of times, it's happened a couple times, so it's just stupid things, but not with this tractor. This tractor has been phenomenal. I really like this tractor, and if you like this video, and if you would be so kind, I would appreciate it if you would hit like and subscribe. Thank you.